हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं हृदये कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। कल्याणत्रिगात्राय कान्तार्थप्रदाय श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथाय श्रीनिवासाय ते नमः। रामाय रामभद्राय चन्द्राय वेदमुताय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च वैतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे नमः। सूर्याय चन्द्राय मङ्गलाय पिताय बुधाय च गुरुशुक्रशनेभ्यः राहवे केतवे नमः। कल्याणद्विगात्राय कान्तार्थप्रदाय श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथाय श्रीनिवासाय ते नमः। हरि ओम। ओम सुप्रसादाय नमः। Suprasaadaaya namah. Whatever the Supreme Lord gives us, His blessings, His grace is most benevolent and makes us joyful. The Supreme salutations to the Supreme Lord, who gives to His devotees great joy and power and energy to His devotees. Whatever He gives is most benevolent. The Supreme Self is supremely merciful to all devotees and the atheist alike. He does not distinguish that he is a theist and he is an untheist. But the Supreme Lord is the personification of supreme freedom. He does not interfere with the individual souls, and He allows them to move along their own chosen path. Whether they are evil or the wicked, they are the theist or the atheist, they are the good or the noble, they will have to experience the fruits of their karma. The Supreme Lord blesses all equally by bestowing them His power of divine energy, prana, prajna, jnana and ananda. But whoever goes to Him with total surrender and total devotion, the Supreme Lord considers His devotees as a part of Himself and guides them along the noble path. This is the supreme secret. So it is not that a wicked man is punished, or a person who has no faith or belief in God, who is an atheist, who does not pray, worship at all, he is punished. There is nothing like that. Everybody is same to all, to Supreme Lord. All are same to Supreme Lord. And everybody, all reaps the fruits of their karma. The Supreme Self is supremely merciful to all devotees and the atheist alike. He is of the form of food to the hungry and the water to the thirsty. Just as the food satisfies all the beings, whether animals engaged in cruel actions, whether the tiger or the cow, whether the human being involved in wicked and evil actions or noble actions, the food supports and sustains all. The water supports, sustains all. The air supports, sustains, gives strength to all. So also, the Supreme, the pranamayu, the life force, flows through the body of all the people and make them living entity, and the consciousness is the same. It is only the individual bodies which they consider separate from due to their mind, individual mind, due to individual target, due to individual agenda in life, due to individual desires and disappointments, each carry along their own path of life. He is of the form of wisdom to the ignorant and support to the weak. He is the hope and faith to all, even the wicked and the evil people. In despondency, they approach the Supreme Lord. Even the Ravana was a great devotee of Sri Parameshwara. Even the Hiranyakashipu was a devotee of Parameshwara. All are great devotees only. Which is only the power of the Supreme Lord that flows through equally in all the living beings. Whenever anyone prays to Him, worships Him and meditates Him, he is filled with joy, freshness and lightness, which an atheist cannot imagine. Blessed are his devotees. So the atheist lacks he is the loser. The immense joy and bliss a devotee enjoys during meditation by the yoga, by the union with the Supreme Lord. An atheist filled with ego and ignorance, bloated with selfishness, he cannot enjoy, and knows not the atheist to what he has closed himself. The atheist is one who has closed himself to the light, who has covered himself in darkness, and who says there is no light because he has covered himself with darkness. Yatro paramate Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. Atmani tushyati is the Bhagavad Gita 5th Adhyaya, 20th Shloka. The mind controlled by the yoga attains purity, pure bliss and pure peace and tranquility, and the individual soul experiences extreme joy, extreme bliss in the yoga, in the presence, by becoming one, attaining union with the Supreme Consciousness, the Parame Yoman of the Supreme Lord. The yoga unites, the meditation unites, the dhyana unites, and those whose mind are controlled by the yoga. Controlling the yoga mind means controlling the thoughts flowing through the mental screen. The simplest way of controlling the mind is just to observe the flow of thoughts within ourselves. There is nothing else we have to do. We cannot control the mind, but we can control the mind by breathing process. Sit in Padmasana, in the lotus pose, in a clean and neat and calm place. Sit in the Padmasana with the head, neck and back straight in a straight line. Close your eyes and focus on the mental screen. Just raise up your head and they look straight. So our eyes, our inner eyes, are automatically focused on our inner screen, the Ajna Chakra. Just breathe in slowly, take in, breathe depth, and as long as deep as possible, and hold it for as long as comfortable as possible. And then breathe out slowly and deeply and hold it as comfortable and as long as possible. Observe the breathing itself, or observe the flow of thoughts that are running through our mind. The mind can do only one job at a time, one thing at a time only it is capable of doing. It cannot observe both the breathing nor observe its thinking. So whichever we do, just focus our attention on the breathing process itself. This will arrest the mind, this will arrest the flow of thoughts. Or alternately, otherwise, just observe the flow of thoughts in the mind, and this will also, the flow of thoughts gradually reduce and come to a stop. So this stoppage of the flow of thoughts, flow of the formation of the images in our mind, which is the cause of disturbance, is the beginning of the peace and the tranquility. Peace and tranquility is just mind remaining silent without thinking, the body remaining unmoving without the sense organs running anywhere, absolutely all self-established in their own place. This is the swasti, this is the yoga, and this is the dhyan. And The mind controlled by this yoga, practice of yoga, attains supreme peace and bliss. Aya soma sukrutya mahaschit abhi avaddata mandava udvishayate. This is the Rigveda mantra, 9th mandala, 47th sukta, first mantra. It says, the Supreme Lord, who is the showerer of joy and bliss, has created all sorts of conveniences to all his beings in his creation. He has also created all facilities, all conveniences for one's improvement and elevation. Elevation from animal level to human level, and from human level to the divine level, and even from divine level to the realization of the Atma. And this world itself is the means for the elevation of our Atma, for the getting rid of this bondages of mind and body, the pain and misery of this world. This world itself is the means. Our body itself is the means for overcoming the pains and travails of the body. Our mind itself is the means to overcome the miseries and limitations of the mind. This itself, this body-mind complex itself, we should use it as a stepping stone to get out of the body and mind and retain and realize our true nature of pure consciousness and bliss. O Supreme Lord, you destroy our unnecessary anger and anxiety and fear, and you help us in this way. You are the one who has given the goal and direction of life. Supreme Lord is the Suprasada. In His name, everything becomes divine. In His name, water becomes the tirtham, the holy water which destroys our diseases. In His name, the food becomes the prasadam. And in His name, the mantras becomes the carriers of power and knowledge. And in His name only, all the embodied souls cross over the samsara. He is the Suprasada. All the blessings of the Supreme Lord are most benevolent. Om Prasannatmane Namaha. The Supreme Lord blesses. Salutations to the Supreme Lord, who is our Father, who is our Mother, who is our friend, who is our Creator, and who is our supporter, and who is our guide, and He is the Master. And He blesses His devotees with a very, very pleasant mind, with a joyful mind, with pure and joyful consciousness. The consciousness itself is very joyful and it is blissful. It is pure light. So the Supreme Lord blesses His devotees with this pure consciousness. We are very, very divine when we go beyond these limitations of the body and the mind. When we are perfectly healthy, we don't feel the body. When we are extremely happy, we don't feel the mind. That itself is the divine state. And when we are established in the Atma, in our embodied soul, which is free from all attachments and desires, it attains total supreme peace and joy. Everything gets purified in the presence, in the vicinity of this pure soul. Atmopamyena sarvatra samam pashyanti yorjuna sukham va yadiva dukkam sa yogi paramo mataha. And in the company of the Supreme Lord, in the friendship of the Supreme Lord, the yogi crosses over all the miseries, all the sorrows, all the pains, and he looks at them equally. he does not differentiate that this is pain and this is pleasure. When we touch an object, even when we burn our fingers accidentally, when we look at it, the act with an equanimous vision that it is neither the pain nor the pleasure, it is only a feeling. But the intensity of the feeling is what makes the difference. So, one who is a yogi, he looks at the pleasure and pain equally. Just as the chariot of a heroic fighter is always ahead of the other warriors, so also the Supreme Consciousness, which is the nature of the Supreme Lord Sri Vishnu, is always ahead of us. So the Supreme Lord grants a very pleasant soul, very pleasant feeling, pleasant attitude, pleasant disposition to his devotees. Om Suprasaadaaya. So Prasannatma means one who is very calm, quiet, one who is pleasing, one is very, very happy, self-established in himself. A person who is free from anxiety, fear or desire, one who has no concern with the things of this world to attain, to excel, one who is free from the Arishad Vargas, he is having a pleasant consciousness, pleasant chitta. Prasannatma. The mind, the pleasant mind is the result of a pleasant, the pure soul. Unless the soul, unless the chitta, our consciousness is very pure, the mind can never be pure. So chitta shuddhi is very, very important. Any exercise we do to control the mind, it is futile, because the mind is nothing but a pipe, a conduit through which the thoughts emanating from the consciousness flows through our mind, makes room in the mind and makes our life miserable. So the Supreme Self is the supreme bliss which cannot be explained. It is different from the happiness of the mind, which is followed by dual opposite. The unhappiness is the other side of the happiness, which is the which is the feature of the mind. So it is different from the physical pleasures which ends in pain. So we have to distinguish very clearly what is pain and pleasure, what is happiness and unhappiness, and what is pure bliss. The pleasure and pain are pertaining to the body. They are the sensations conveyed by the sensory organs by coming in contact with the sense objects. So they have got a beginning and end. The pleasure becomes pain, the pain becomes pleasure depending upon our experience, our likes or dislikes depending on our mind. The mind also experiences happiness or unhappiness, excitation or depression. It exhilarates with joy and gets depressed with failure. So these are the phases of the mind. But the pure bliss is the unalloyed joy and happiness, which is not dependent on either the body or the mind or the world, because the bliss is the nature of Sri Hari Narayana, the Supreme Lord, Supreme Creator, who has made all creation beautifully, and that is his self-nature. So the bliss is unique, and one's experience has no equal to it. So the person, a yogi, a spiritual sage or a saint who has attained union with the Supreme Lord, who has experienced the total unalloyed bliss, is not distracted by any sensation, by anything of this world. This is explained in this Shloka Yam ladva chaparam labham manyate nadikam tataha Yasmin stito na dukkena gunani vichalyate. While having obtained, he thinks there is no other gain superior to it. So a yogi, a spiritual person who has experienced immense bliss, the joy, the nature of pure consciousness, realizes there is nothing equal to that and nothing higher than that. And he gets established in that. He is not even moved by the heavy sorrow, any disappointment in life. He is not affected. So, one who is established in the self is indifferent to the physical pain and physical pleasure or pains. So, one who has experienced the nature of the Atma, one who has realized he is the Atma, he is not too much attached, too much affected by the pleasure and pain of the body, or the happiness or unhappiness of the mind. What he loses or gains is not concerned. Even if the whole world applauds or denounces, he is not concerned. He is also unaffected by the worldly success and failures which cause excitement and depression. One who is the supreme devotee of the Supreme Lord, Sri Hari Narayana, he is ever blissful, he is the supreme yogi. This is the result of the Prasanna Atma. Atmanopam yena sarvatra samam pashyati syorjana sukamya va yadi va dukkam sa yogi paramo mataha. Sri Krishna, the Supreme Yogeshwar, the eighth avatar of Sri Vishnu, Sri Krishna tells to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, 32nd sloka, he who through the likeness of the Supreme Self, O Arjuna, sees equally everywhere, be it pleasure or pain, he is regarded as the highest yogi. This is the simple realization. What all we have to realize is that we are not the body and we are not the mind. Realizing that we are not the body is also very simple. Earlier we were not there, then we took birth, we came out of the mother's womb, we were a child, the child abandoned its childhood and became the adolescent, then the adolescent boy or girl abandoned its adolescence and attained the youth became the middle age became the old age, and the old age undergoing its changes, and ultimately the body dies. So, we know that this body is very, very temporary and we are not this body, but we are that energy by simple realization, by experience, by the yoga, we realize that we are beyond this body. We realize that when we were sleeping, we have realized the sleeping state. When we were dreaming, we have observed the dreaming state. When in the waking state, we have lived active life. And is the fourth state, Turiya. That is the pure nature of the soul is what is keeping always awake. This can be observed only by pure intelligence. We cannot make the soul, explain the soul as a manifest object. We cannot point out anything as this is the soul. So, a ignorant person, an atheist, cannot endlessly argue that where is the soul? This body is all real. No doubt this body is real. Body is undergoing change. And it is futile to enter into argument with logic, with logicians, with the atheists. because they refuse to see that the unmanifest is what supports the manifest. And it is very, very simple observation that all the manifest things in this world, anything that appears vanishes after some time. It is all a question of few minutes, few hours, few years, few hundreds of years, that's all. By simple scientific knowledge, the energy that is supporting this body and mind complex as an entity has no beginning and end. And this soul is the prana prajna, the prajnatma, the prana prajna jnana ananda entity which is eternal. So one who realizes that he is the Atma, that one who realizes that he is not the body, he is not the mind, but the changeless, deathless, fearless spirit attains a very pleasant mind, very pleasant disposition, since he is not affected any happening to the body or whatever happens to his accumulations around his body. The whole world in this, all the name, fame, property, wealth, children, wife, parents, everybody, they are all only accumulations around this body, and they last as long as this body lasts. All relationships with the body. And when this body dies, everything also vanishes, everything disappears around. So this body-mind complex is the center, is the focusing point, is the center around which the circle is formed. But the soul itself is the center around which the body, mind, intellect, intelligence, all other things surround themselves and becomes a circle. So one who realizes this true Atma, one who realizes the purity of the Atma identified with the Supreme Lord, attains Prasannatma, becomes a Prasannatma. So we all are in our natural state, we are very, very pleasant and joyful and blissful. But when we are identified with the body and the mind and start running like mad horses in this world, we lose our identity. Om Vishnusahasranama. Om salutations to the Supreme Lord who holds the universe by His power. He is observing. Or salutations to the Supreme Lord who is the eye of the universe. He is just looking. He is seeing as the sun and the moon. And in our own body, the sun and the moon are represented in our own eyes, through our own eyes. So the soul seated in the body sees through these eyes, and the Supreme Lord seated in the sun and the moon, He looks through, He is observing all the happenings in this universe. Salutations to the Supreme Lord who holds this universe by His power. He holds it. He is controlling because His energy is only flowing in all these things. The Supreme Self is the supreme power that is running this world of life and beings. And the beings are born and kept alive by the divine power, the vital force, the prana. So we are all alive because the life force is present in our body. We are breathing because we are alive, not because we are alive because we are breathing. It is the life force that is moving the breath in and out and performing all the parts of the body. It is the life force that makes our eyes see. It is the life force that is making our ears hear. It is the life force that is making our nose smell the odor and tongue taste the taste, and it is making our skin body contact to feel the touch, and it is what is making our mind to think. So it is the life force that is the prime mover, that is the energy. And so also the Supreme Lord is supporting the whole universe by His power. The rains come in time and food is grown, the bodies are supported by this food, all senses perform their functions by the faculty of this consciousness and higher nature, divine nature, which are the higher nature of the Supreme Self. All living beings find their occasions by the power of intelligence, which is the higher nature of the Supreme Lord. So He is only the power and glory, the life force prana and the prajna, the supreme creative intelligence, and the emanating, the resulting joy and bliss is what is making this world go round. Raso amapsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashisuryo pranavas sarva deveshu shabda ke purisham vrusho. So the Bhagavad Gita Supreme Lord, Supreme Yogeshwar, Sri Krishna says in the 7th chapter, 8th shloka, I am the stability in the water. The water is so pleasurable to drink. When we are thirsty, there is no liquid more tasteful than pure water. And I am the stability, I am the strength in this water, I am the joy in this water, I am the consciousness in this water. And I am the light in the moon and the sun. It is what is making the sun and moon shine only because my power is there. I am the syllable Om in all the Vedas. So Omkar is the Nada Brahma, the purifying sound, the energizing sound, and the sound which carries creative intelligence in it. And I am the sound in the ether and the virility in men. The virility in men, the power to regenerate, the power of the strength of the semen to create further human beings, further generation, to prolong the generation. Otherwise this world will come to an end if there is no procreation, if there is no birth, cycle of births and deaths. So I am the virility in the men, I am the strength in the generating capacity in the men is I am. Punyo Gandha Prithivyancha Tejas Chasmi Vibhavso Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu Tapas Chasmi Tapasvishu. So Sri Krishna continues in the 7th chapter, 9th shloka, that He is the power, He is the noble power, the energizing power, the blissful power behind all. I am the sweet fragrance in earth and the brilliance in the fire. All the taste of the food, the fragrance of the flowers, the taste of the foods and fruits, all they belong to the earth. So it is only the food we grow from the earth only can sustain us. So I am the fragrance, sweet fragrance in the earth and the brilliance in the fire. The fuel, it is the fire that burns in the fuel. So when the fuel is burnt, the fire disappears. So the fire is eternal, the fire is the unmanifest. The fuel is the manifest. This is the secret of existence. The energy is the unmanifest. The body is exhibiting, containing that power is the manifest. A battery is the manifest, but the electricity, the energy in the battery is the unmanifest. So the unmanifest supports the manifest. Avyakta is what is supporting the Vyakta. And I am the austerity in the ascetics, though people conduct austerity. Austerity is the symbolism of abandoning all the limited and the finite, all the manifest things, abandoning all the pleasures of body and the things of the mind that excites and depresses the mind. This is the austerity. Eating less, doing penance is austerity. Abstaining from all physical pleasures is austerity. Fasting is austerity. Silence, resorting to silence, mauna, is austerity. Shutting off all our body organs, all the coming in contact with the outside world. That means the forms, the sounds, the taste, the smells, and the foods and the pleasures and all the excitements and the depressions. Abstaining from them and keeping ourselves abandoning all these things. It is the austerity, and all this austerity results in experiencing the purity of the soul. That is the joy, pure joy and bliss, which is the nature of pure consciousness. Om Vishwabhuje Namaha, salutation to the Supreme Lord, who eats up this world. He is the Maheshwara, he is the Shiva, he is the Maheshwara. Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the supporter and sustainer, and Shiva, the annihilator. It is all the three faces of Supreme Lord Sri Hari Narayana, the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Paramatman, the nameless and the formless Supreme Power. Supreme Self devours this world at the end of the Kalpa. He is the all but devouring time. He is the form of Shiva and the Rudra. Anything that has got a beginning comes to an end. Anything is finite has a beginning and an end. Anything bound by time is also bound by dimensions. Anything bound by dimensions is also limited in time. This is the natural order. Jatasya maranam dhruvam. Anything that has a birth, sure to die. Taking birth is a chance, but death is certain for one who has taken the birth. So the freshness is maintained, the purity is maintained, the balance is maintained by bringing to an end all that exists. Supreme law and justice prevails in the kingdom of God. Whether a rich or a poor, he has got a beginning and end. Whether a rich or a poor, he does not bring anything while taking birth and does not carry anything when he dies. Alexander the Great, who attained victory all over the world in his times, when he was buried, he just left his two hands outside, indicating, look, I am not carrying anything. I came empty-handed and going empty-handed. This simple realization at least should desist the ignorant people from amassing wealth in wicked and evil ways and take to the righteous path. The path is very clear, the line is clear, the drishya is very clear. That there is supreme, in the kingdom of God, everybody is same and they have to meet the ends of their justice, they will attain the ends of justice. This is very, very clear. So rasomap sukonteya prabhasmi shishuriyo pranava sarvedeshu shabdakke paurusham rujo yesha suryam arochayat pavamano chashani vishwadhamani vishvavit. So Veda mantra 9th mandala 28th sukta 5th mantra, it says the premeda angirasa rishis prays to Pavaman Soma in the Gayatri Chandas. It is only the Supreme Lord Sri Hari Narayana, the Supreme Lord, all omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient Supreme Lord has given brightness to the sun. He is the one shining behind the sun. He is the creator. And he pervades everywhere, spreads everywhere, flows everywhere, and he is verily staying in our heart. This is the most beautiful mantra of the Rigveda that shows, that declares that he is verily staying in our heart as the embodied soul, Jivatma. The Atma, the Paramatma is verily the Jivatma. They are one in different dimensions, different time scales. Jivatma is the micro residing in the body, making it a living entity. The Paramatma is what is one identified with this universe as a creator, and the Atma is not identified with anything. Atma, Jivatma, Paramatma, they are all one and the same, but in different dimensions. Priyamida, Yesha Suryam Arochiyat. He is the one who is shining in the sun. Paumano Chastri, the Paumana who is observing all the brightening, making the life beautiful. Vishwa Dhamani Vishwa, he flows in all the living beings. And the Supreme Lord as Kala, as Shiva, he eats up, devours everything. Everything comes to an end. He is the maintainer of pure joy and justice, pure law and justice. It is only the Supreme Lord who enforces from time to time. Where there is wicked and evil order prevailing, he punishes the people by stopping the rain, by creating famines and diseases. He creates the people who resort to untruth and disorder. Those who do not follow the truth and order, who pollute the air and poison the drink, he makes their life miserable. He fills their body with poisonous gases and poisonous foods and makes them suffer, makes them even difficult even to breathe. This is the result of untruthful and evil way of living, and the Supreme Lord punishes them from time to time, and even he maintains the supreme justice even at the beginning and at the end. Om Suprasaadaaya, celebration of the Supreme Lord who becomes many from the Hiranyagarbha downwards. So this is the most beautiful part of the creation. Earlier he was one, and now he become many. The Supreme Self is one and has become innumerable in forms according to the functions. He created this wonderful world, and to enjoy this wonderful world having different diverse qualities, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, in diverse forms, he created the diverse forms to enjoy these diverse qualities as the soul and the Jivatma. So it is just like the sun being reflected in a million glass pieces of different sizes and shapes and colors. Even though the reflected suns are innumerable, the reflecting sun is only one. So the most beautiful Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, Tam ekam anemin trivrutam shodashantam. They saw him as having one rim, 3 tires. That is one as the supreme source, having 3 tires, that is Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, and 16 ends. 5 great elements, air, water, fire, earth and space, and the 11 organs, mind, 5 sense organs, 5 motor organs, 50 spokes, 50 different nations of phases of mind such as experience, such as happiness, unhappiness, etc. The mind experiencing various forms, and the world consisting of 3 qualities of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So all he created, and the illusion of identifying oneself with the body, mind, senses, etc. is not at all not self. So one who realizes that what he has created is not the enjoyer, is not the bhoktru, is not the creator. And this bhoktru and the kartru, they are distant and different. Though the bhoktru stays, enjoyer stays in the body, he is different from these objects of enjoyment. So enjoyer, enjoyment and enjoyable objects, these three. All the enjoyable objects are made of this world of objects, bodies and beings which have got a beginning and end, containing sattva, rajas and tamas. Enjoyment is the process to which it is the process of attachment, and the enjoyer is the changeless, deathless, fearless spirit, the Atma, which undergoes, which takes in many, many bodies. So, sarva jive, sarva samste. Sarva jive, sarva samste, bruhante, asmin hamso, brahmyate, brahmachakre, pruthag atmanam, previtaram cha, matva, jushta, satastena, amrutatvameti. This is the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, first chapter, 6th sloka. When the individual soul, the Jivatma, when the embodied soul realizes that he is different from this Creator, from the Supreme Lord, he gets entangled in this world of samsara, which is always has got a beginning and end. And once this Jivatma realizes that he is verily the Supreme Lord himself, when this enlightenment happens, then he attains his immortal form, he attains supreme consciousness. This is a very, very beautiful methodology of enlightenment. We are all enlightened, but we are identified with the body and the mind. Once we lose our identity with the body and the mind, then there is no identification with this limited and the finite is lost. We become one with the infinite, and that is the enlightenment. Realizing that we are not this body, we are not this mind, we are not this world which is continuously undergoing change, but we are the changeless, deathless, fearless. This realization is what is called enlightenment, and that person attains total liberation. Till we think we are different from the God, Lord, Supreme Lord, the Supreme Self, the Paramatman, that we are only limited to the body, this body is mind, we are the body, we are this mind, we are revolving in this world, this wheel of the world in the samsara chakra. So this is very, very simple to realize that we are not the body, we are not the mind, we are not anything of this world. The simple realization and acting according to that, following our realization, following our knowledge, following our understanding is what is sadhana. And when this sadhana becomes our way of life, we are totally enlightened. So avetaham vava srishtirasmi, aham hi idam sarvamasriti, tata srishtirabhavat, srishtam ha asetasam bhoti ya evam veda. The Bhudaranyaka Upanishad also says the same thing in the first chapter, 4th section, 5th mantra. The realized Atma knew that he is only or he is one, and he only has created, he has only has become creator, and he only has entered into all these things, because he is the one who created this, and he is the one who absorbs everything unto himself. Earlier there was nothing, then he created, and he absorbed all the created unto himself. So he only remains. So he is only called the Srishti. So one who realizes this also becomes a creator. So earlier there was nothing, only Atma is there. Then he created many and he absorbed everything and only Atma remained. This is only the creative energy with consciousness bliss only. That is what is eternal and immortal. Om Suprasaadaaya namah. The Supreme Lord Sri Narayana, salutations to him who is impelling us, who is guiding us to perform noble deeds. The Supreme Lord guides his devotees to involve in noble and auspicious deeds, thereby purifying and attaining pure joy and bliss. So, salutations to him. Ajitye, ahtaye, pasvasvaste, sarvatatiye, bruhate, tasvushanti vishva ime, sakayastad aham vishmi pavan suma. This is Rigveda mantra, 9th mandala. Ajitaye, ahataye, pavasvasvastaye, sarvatatiye, brute, tasvushanti vishvaime, sakayastad aham vishmi pavamana soma. 9th mandala, 96th sukta, 4th mantra. O Supreme Lord, who is the sharer of joy and bliss. O Supreme Lord, you are the self-effulgent. You are always shining. You are the source and cause of all brightness. You are immortal, you are ever victorious, and you are the one who has occupied, pervaded everywhere. You have entered everywhere, and you are the one who is ever increasing, you are expanding, and you are the one growing everywhere, and you are the one cause of all who also grow and who also prosper. You are the causes of all everybody's prosperity. And all the embodied souls verily follow you only. So we all follow the nature of the Supreme Lord. When we simply copy the benevolent acts, maintaining purity, working without any selfless ideas, without working, discharging our duty diligently without any selfishness, not identifying anything with the limited and definite. This is the yoga, this is the only way of becoming one with the Supreme Lord and enjoy the beautiful bliss of the Supreme Lord. All others are trash and all others are transitory and all others are just sound, meaningless sounds and noises. Om Suprasaadaaya. It is only Satkartrema, it is only Supreme Lord who does noble, and the Supreme Lord impels, guides his devotees to involve in this holy and auspicious works. The result of holy and auspicious works is peace, tranquility, joy, and destruction of the sorrow and the misery, mind experiencing pure joy and bliss, going beyond the transcending the sattva, rajas and tamasic qualities, going beyond the distraction of the world of objects, bodies and beings, destruction of the Arishad Vargas, lust, greed, anger, ego, jealousy and hatred, and total purification. So the Supreme Lord guides these devotees to engage in holy and auspicious works, resulting in total purification and attaining unity with the Supreme Brahman. Gunane tanatitaya trimdehi dev samudvan janma bhutva jara dukkha vimutto amruta pashnute. This is the most beautiful mantra of the Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, 20th shloka. It says, one who has crossed the three qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas, which make up all these bodies, being and in this world, he also crosses over all the diseases, all the miseries, the old age, and also he attains liberation. This is a very, very simple and beautiful explanation of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Yogeshwar. We have to realize that anything in this world, any person, any object, anything that we see, hear, taste, smell or touch consists of three qualities: sattva, rajas and tamas. Sattva, which makes us, which gives us strength, establishing in truth and order, and rajasic, which makes us to become active and to get attached to the things of the world, to attain name and fame and power and glory, which are all transient, and also the tamasic qualities which guide, which takes the person along the path of misery, diseases, pain and the destruction and descending into the animal level. So anything in this world consists of these three qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas. And the Atma in its pure nature, the Supreme Lord, Paramatma is beyond all these three qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas. Gunatita. Trigunatita means crossing over all the three qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas. We should not be identified with anybody, with this body or with anybody, whether it is sattva, rajas or tamas. We should not identify ourselves with a king who is rajasic, or with a sage or a saint who is sattvic, or with a evil and wicked ruler who is tamasic. We do not recognize, we should not hold them in our sight, we should totally ignore them. So also we should not engage ourselves in any of these three qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas. So we have to transcend this body and mind, because everything in this universe is made of sattva, rajas and tamas. The simple way is reject everything. Neti, neti, neti. Not this, not this, not this. So nothing in this world we see, hear, taste, touch or smell, we are identified with that. We are not attached to that. We do not go after that, and we do not hold them in high esteem. This is all very, very simple, we have to adopt. Then we attain the pure nature of joy and bliss. This is what Supreme Lord guides his devotees. And without the blessings of the Supreme Lord, we are caught in any of these three qualities of sattva, rajas, tamas. So it is only the Supreme Lord who has created these three qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas, including our body and mind complex. And He is the only one who blesses with His blessings, who guides us along to cross over these three qualities. Ham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninaman Dehma Shitaha Pranapana Samayukta Pachami Annam Chaturvidam. So Sri Krishna himself says that I have taken the form of Vaishvanara, the digestive fire in the stomach of all the living beings, in the embodied souls, and I am living in the body as the Jivatma. And I have taken the form of Vaishvanaragni in the stomach and enjoy and experience the qualities of the food which consists of sattva, rajas and tamas, which makes up this body. And I become one with this breath, in breath and out breath. And I digest all things, everything I digest. There is nothing that can survive my power, because all I digest them and make them devour and dissolve and vanish. So it is the digestive fire in our stomach which digests all the foods which are the power of the Supreme Lord. Om Sarve Namaha. sadhu, the one sadhu. The sadhu means one who is on the path of truth is a sadhu. Sadhu, sadbhave, sadhubhave cha. One who is having the true intentions, the noble intentions and performs the works is a sadhu. One who is established in truth and order is a sadhu. One who is established in selfless action, helping the others is a sadhu. One who has no personal desires, personal intentions of one who is free from the Arishad Vargas is a sadhu. And the Supreme Lord Sri Narayana, to whom our salutations, he helps his devotees become the sadhus and the saints. So the sattva attaches to happiness, rajas to action, and while tamas, verily shrouding knowledge, attaches to heedlessness, sattva, rajas and tamas. We have to cross over all this. When through every gate in this body the wisdom light shines, then it may be known that sattva is predominant. In the embodied one, he meets with death when sattva is predominant, then he attains to his spotless world of the knowers of the highest. The Supreme Self is supremely just, sadbhave, sadhave namah om. He is the one who makes his devotees sadhus to be established in truth and order. The Supreme Self is supremely just, truthful and noble. He is the Supreme Achiever, he is the natural cause of everything. Whatever great and commendable are there are said to have been done by the grace of the Supreme Lord. He is the one who guides us, who impels us, guides us, who gives us the desire to be involved in holy and auspicious works. Whatever done at the guidance and grace, the also Supreme Spirit, Sri Narayana, becomes the divine and monumental. Since whatever actions guided and performed by the divine guidance consists of supreme creative intelligence, supreme benevolence which helps one and all. It has the divine essence that is supremely enjoyable by the intellect. Everybody enjoys the divine grace. Anything that Supreme Lord has created is so much enjoyable. The beautiful nature is enjoyable. If you just sit on the seashore and observe the oceanic waves, if we just sit on the top of a mountain, see the range of mountains, the valleys, and if we just see the children, they playing, and if we are free, if we see the observing the plants bearing fruits and flowers, everything the Supreme Lord has created, they are all blissful, and the person in whom a sadhu in which this truth and order is established, he also becomes blissful, he becomes pleasant. Everybody would like to come and sit in his presence. So the divine nature is deemed conducive to liberation and demonical to bondage. Grieve not, O Arjuna, you are born with divine endowments. This is what Krishna says to Arjuna. You have to cross all the three qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas. But you have to cross from tamas to sattvic, tamas to rajasic and rajasic to sattvic. And even you have to cross over from sattvic for liberation. You cannot be attached to even the noble qualities. You cannot say, I go on doing the being good and living in this world. As long as you are living in this world, as long as we have a body and a mind, we are bound to these qualities of nature. Om Jannave Namaha. Of salutation of the Supreme Lord who dissolves all things in oneself at the time of dissolution. This is the Ishwa. Shiva is the dissolver. His form is Shiva. The Trimurti form of Sri Narayana is Brahma, Vishnu, Parameshwara, Shiva, Maheshwara is the dissolver, is the Janna. The Supreme Self abandons the evil doers and leads the devotees to salvation. The evil person is the ignorant person who is against the Supreme Order. He places himself above all others and is prepared to sacrifice the interest of one against the many. So all these are to be sacrificed. This world is nothing but a sacrifice. We have to abandon the smaller in the interest of the larger. A person has to be sacrificed. That means his interest ought to be sacrificed in the interest of the larger society. So the society, interest of a society has to be abandoned in the interest of the larger community, larger state. And the interest of a state has to be abandoned when it is a conglomeration of states in the interest of the nation. So even the interest of a nation has to be sacrificed in the interest of the whole humanity itself. So everything is a process of giving up small things in the interest of the larger. It is a sacrifice of the small in the interest of the larger. Just as any part of our body is afflicted with disease and which fast spreads to the other bodies and the body is endangered, the life of the body, the life of a person is endangered, then they amputate that, remove that portion of the body. If there is any cancerous part of the body which cannot be cured, they cut off that portion of the body. If any blood flow is not happening to any part of the hand or the legs and it is decaying, the gangrene or it is going to affect the body, that portion of the body is cut off. So also, everything is a structure in this body. Just as our body consists of so many organs, so many parts, and a part is abandoned for the sake of the whole. So the part is sacrificed for the whole in the interest of the larger society. So a personal interest has to be abandoned for the society's interest. The society's interest has to be abandoned for the community's interest. A community's interest has to be abandoned for the state's interest, and the state's interest has to be abandoned for the national interest, and for the national interest, one nation interest has to be abandoned for the safety and well-being of the whole humanity itself. So the Supreme Lord has created all these things in such a beautiful way that the whole is larger than the part and the part can be removed. Even if any part of our body is removed, the body continues to live because it is all composed of parts. So if a part is damaged, the whole is not damaged. So another part can be attached to that. This is the way. Now many artificial body organs are being attached. If the hand and leg is amputated, so artificial legs and hands and legs are being attached, which the person continue to live normally. So the whole is larger than the part. The part can always be sacrificed. So the Supreme Lord has created this, but there is one which is immovable, which cannot be replaced. And that is the Supreme Lord Himself, that is the Prana Prajna Jnana Ananda Swarupa, life force, energy, life energy, life force, consciousness, job, bliss and knowledge. Truth, consciousness, bliss. Truth, consciousness, knowledge, bliss. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahmam. We have to understand these are eternal, these are irreplaceable, there is no substitute, there is no second for or second to all these. And this is what makes this, constitutes the world, makes up this world. This is what enters into all the manifest and makes them appear to be real and makes them living entity. Om, this is the Supreme Lord, Jannave Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat.